Hello and welcome back. The topic for today's video are going to be the differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, as well as some of the similarities between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Okay? So I have on the board here already a prokaryotic cell and a eukaryotic cell. And in terms of this, it's not really true to scale, but one of the things you may notice with these two drawings is one is smaller, one is larger. Okay? That's one of the key differences between prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells tend to be smaller, all right? They're on the range of 1 to 2 micrometers in size, okay? Eukaryotic cells tend to be larger, 10 to 100 micrometers in size, okay? And I've given you some units of measure here, and you're like, okay, micrometer, what the heck is that, okay? Micrometer is a unit of measure, okay? And in terms of what we can see by eye, okay? So what we can see, we're talking about on the range of 200 micrometers. So while eukaryotic cells are larger than prokaryotic cells, we need a microscope to see both of them, okay? So because it's smaller than what we can see by eye. And to kind of give you a reference of what something that might be 200 micrometers would be, the diameter of a single human hair is roughly 200 micrometers. So if you're like me and you wake up in the morning, you can see that hair that you've lost overnight on your pillow. That's kind of the limit of what we can see by eye. If it's smaller than that, we're going to need help seeing it. Okay? So prokaryotic cells are smaller, eukaryotic cells are larger. All right? Eukaryotic cells, we'll start with eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells are going to contain the DNA within the nucleus, okay? Prokaryotic cells are not going to have a nucleus that contains the DNA, okay? So there's no nucleus, and in fact, there are no organelles at all in a prokaryotic cell, okay? But really what the defining feature between the prokaryotic and the eukaryotic cell is going to be is the nucleus. So our eukaryotic cells will have organelles, will have a nucleus, okay? Now if you notice up here, I've got a category over here entitled both, all right? Because there are going to be things that are in common between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, okay? Both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells are going to contain DNA, all right? So I drew it here within the nucleus. I drew it here, kind of in the middle of the cell for the prokaryotic cell. But both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells are going to have DNA, okay? They are both going to have a cellular membrane, because you have to contain that living organism within something, okay? So both our prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells have a cell membrane, okay? They will also have fluid within the cells. Both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells are going to have cytoplasm, okay? So cytoplasm is really going to be the fluid component within the cell. And we'll talk more about what's found within cytoplasm later in the semester. But for now, just know cytoplasm, it's going to be both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, okay? The last structure I'll talk about as far as what they have in common are going to be a structure known as ribosomes. All right? And in terms of that, I'm going to draw the ribosomes as dots. Ribosomes are not organelles, okay? Ribosomes are small structures that are responsible for making protein within the cell, all right? And we'll talk more about that in detail also later in the semester. But what I want you to take away from this video, there are things that are similar between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. There are things that are different between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. These are some of the overlying similarities and differences. You're going to see this come up again during the semester, okay? So if you have any questions, please let me know, all right? Otherwise, thank you for your attention.